Today is my wedding anniversary with Ethan. I had prepared a surprise early on, but he still hasn't come back. As the minute hand pointed to 12, a wave of bitterness surged in my heart. I really don't know when our relationship became so strained. Just 6 years ago, Ethan and I fell in love, got to know each other, and decided to stay together. Just 6 years, and he has changed towards me. Tears welled up in my eyes, and my chest felt heavy.
Madam, the boss is drunk. Come and give me a hand.
Sophie's voice came from the doorway. I was startled, remembering the last time I saw Sophie was half a year ago. Back then, I never imagined she would have the status she has now. Ethan used to dislike her, thinking she was nothing. But gradually, Sophie started to work hard and show her potential. After saving Ethan during an incident with some haters, she quickly became his personal assistant and manager. The manager who had been with Ethan for 6 years was fired. I tried to dissuade him, but Ethan only agreed on the surface. In reality, he continued to follow Sophie's arrangements. The former manager stayed in the company, but in a very idle position, something Ethan did just to appease me. If it weren't for a chance encounter, I wouldn't have known I had been kept in the dark all along. For the past 3 months, Sophie has become increasingly audacious. She often brings Ethan back late at night and even sends me messages of them together to provoke me. These days have continued. I can't bear to let go of the hand I've held for 6 years. But this has undoubtedly become a weapon that hurts me. Watching Sophie drag Ethan directly into our bedroom, I couldn't stay calm.
Leave, I can take care of my own man.
I directly pushed Sophie's hand away. Her expression changed slightly, but she still smiled.
My bad. This has happened so many times. Every time it's me helping the boss. You see, it's become a habit.
Sophie left, and I looked down at the drunken man on the bed. This kind of thing happens often, so has this man been touched? Just as I was thinking, Ethan suddenly hugged my waist.
Honey.
His warm breath brushed over me, making my body go soft involuntarily. Just as I was about to say something, I heard him continue.
Sophie, why are you ignoring me?
I felt a rush of blood to my head, clenching my fists tightly. How far have they gone? Ethan left early the next morning without a word to the woman who had taken care of him all night. Not a single word. I looked at the empty house, feeling a bit down. As I was feeling miserable, my best friend's call came through.
Want to go shopping?
Half an hour later, we met at the Rising Sun Cafe.
Grace, what's wrong with you? You look so worn out. Is Ethan treating you badly?
Emily, my best friend in the human world, was always on my side. At this moment, she was far better than that so-called man. At least Emily always considered me her best friend and cared about me the most in this world. I had no family, and she never looked down on me. She even sympathized with me and was willing to be my friend. People in this world are strange. They like to be friends with those who have a family background. I was excluded, so naturally, Emily was my only friend.
He's too busy with work. Every time he comes back, he's drunk. I can't feel the initial spark anymore.
I had no secrets from Emily.
That's simple. Just break up with him and find someone else. As long as you change men quickly, there's no sadness, only love.
Emily said with a serious expression, making me laugh and feel much better.
Have you heard? The beautiful country has been dumping waste into the ocean, causing many mutated creatures to appear. Now, fish and shrimp carcasses are everywhere by the river, and no one dares to eat them. You wouldn't believe how upset the fishermen are.
Hearing this, my face stiffened. I used to suppress them in the beautiful country, and I couldn't believe how reckless they had become in just a few years since I left. It seemed they needed a lesson. That night, I summoned an earthquake as a warning, followed by a few typhoons. They were overwhelmed and quickly became obedient. Feeling accomplished, I happily returned home, just in time to see Ethan being interviewed. He was now a film emperor, a significant figure in the entertainment industry, shining brightly under the spotlight. I loved seeing him on stage, like a star twinkling in the night sky.
Mr. Ethan, you haven't been seen with your wife much lately. Is it because you're tired of her? Or is there too much temptation in the entertainment industry?
The reporter's question caught my attention. I wanted to know where I stood in his heart.
My wife has been with me for 6 years. We have a great relationship. She's the love of my life. Unless she falls out of love, I will never let go of her hand.
Hearing this, my eyes welled up with tears.
Silly, how could I ever fall out of love?
This kind of thing happens often, so has this man been touched?
Honey,
His warm breath brushed over me, making my body go soft involuntarily. Just as I was about to say something, I heard him continue.
Sophie, why are you ignoring me?
I felt a rush of blood to my head, clenching my fists tightly. How far have they gone? Thinking about the past, I felt uncertain.
Really? The wife of a famous actor wearing a fake necklace? Was all the love just a lie?
Oh my God, I've been shipping this couple for 6 years. Can I still believe in love?
What on earth is going on with Ethan?
As the murmurs of doubt grew louder, Sophie looked at me with increasing arrogance.
Sister, even if the necklace around your neck is fake, it doesn't affect your relationship with the boss. After all, you stay at home all the time and don't deserve such a nice necklace.
Her slow, deliberate words made my face turn pale. Just as I was about to respond, a commotion erupted at the door, and a man in a tailored suit strode towards me.
Ethan.
He was indeed as dazzling as the sun, making it hard to look away. But after all these years, was I really no match for a newly acquainted assistant?
Who upset my little princess? Tell me and I won't let her get away with it.
His words made me feel even more aggrieved, and tears welled up in my eyes.
So, whose is the real one?
Silly, of course yours is the real one.
He smiled warmly.
Mr. Green is an expert in this field. He can help verify it.
At his words, a bearded man stepped forward. Everyone present eagerly awaited the result, including me.
The necklace around Mrs. Ethan's neck is genuine.
With those words, my heart settled. Thankfully, our marriage was intact. I looked at Ethan, filled with excitement. He truly hadn't changed. Sophie's face turned beet red, and she glared at me before turning to leave. The banquet continued, and I played along with Ethan, displaying our affection. After that, I was in a great mood. Every day, I would cook and wait for Ethan to come home. Ethan was very obedient, always eating what I prepared. We lived like an ordinary couple, enjoying a peaceful life.
In a daze, it felt like we had returned to the past. We were still those penniless students, sharing a bowl of noodles as we first entered society. I had been with Ethan from his unknown days, to small roles in movies, to Best Supporting Actor, to Best Ethan, and finally to Best Actor. We had gone through so much together, enduring countless hardships.
Lily, when I become Best Actor, I'll make you the happiest woman in the world.
His promise was still fresh in my mind. I couldn't help but laugh.
What's so funny?
I just wish we could stay like this forever.
His smile froze for a moment, then he quickly changed the subject.
Today's meal is really good.
It rained today, and Ethan didn't come home. He sent me a message, but soon after, I received intimate photos of Ethan and Sophie. In the photo, the two of them were embracing, looking incredibly intimate. Ethan's face was filled with desire. I hadn't seen him like this in half a year. Ever since Sophie appeared, he rarely touched me. At first, I thought he was just too busy, but then I realized how foolish I had been. Men are creatures who think with their lower halves. If he doesn't want to be with you, what feelings could he possibly have left? Thinking about this made my heart ache terribly. Just as I was trying to find a way to ease the pain, I received a location from the other side. Room 833, Qingya Hotel. After much hesitation, I decided to go. But as soon as I reached the door, before I could knock, a hand pulled me inside. What followed was a searing kiss. The man's body was burning hot. When I tried to push him away, I realized he was even more muscular than Ethan.
Ugh, stop it. Who are you?
I wanted to say more, but the man pressed me onto the bed. He was too passionate. Thinking of Ethan's betrayal, I accidentally gave in. The next morning, before dawn, he carried me to another room. What are you doing? I was exhausted from the night and had no strength to resist. Finally, there was some light in the room, and I could see the man's face clearly. He was even more handsome than Ethan, with a more rugged masculinity, and most importantly, he was younger and more vigorous. Except for not being Ethan, he was perfect in every way.
Sister, with your intelligence, you'd get sold and still count the money for them.
I was utterly confused by his words. He calmly opened a crack in the door, and I watched as a group of reporters rushed into the room we had just been in. Shortly after, Ethan and Sophie arrived. So, I was set up. A chill ran down my spine, and I swallowed hard, finding it difficult to accept. Why? Why would they do this to me? Our years of feelings.
Feelings are the most unreliable thing in this world. Last night, I was also set up by the woman I love. Sister, let's join forces and drag them into the abyss, shall we?
His deep eyes stared at me without blinking, revealing no emotion. The woman he loved, I instinctively thought of Sophie. So, we were in the same boat. All right. Ethan didn't catch me, and his temper flared when he got back.
Where did you go?
He grabbed my arm, his knuckles turning white. I quietly put down the water kettle in my hand, my voice full of grievance. I waited for you all night. Why didn't you come back? He was stunned by my words. His murderous expression softened instantly.
You didn't go out last night?
Where could I go? I blinked my innocent eyes at the man in front of me. Ethan's face showed a hint of discomfort as he touched his nose.
I drank too much last night and slept outside.
So, you didn't even bother to call me to let me know you're safe?
Don't be mad, honey. I had too many social engagements and forgot. I promise I'll let you know next time.
His eyes were darting around as he spoke. All right, you know I worry about you. We've been together for so many years, you understand.
I know it won't happen again.
After their own mishap, Ethan behaved himself for a long time. Even Sophie was out of sight for a while. That man started planning his revenge, aiming to replace Ethan as the leading actor.
So, you're going to debut?
The man looked at me with a playful glint in his eyes.
Do you think I'm not as good as that man?
Not at all. You're younger and have endless potential. If James hadn't suggested it, I wouldn't have thought of this move. James had an impeccable appearance, definitely ready for a debut. But you don't have a manager. Besides, Ethan's current status is unshakable. The entertainment industry is full of his people, he won't let you debut.
That depends on how you handle our relationship. You've been with him for so many years, don't you know his weaknesses?
Ethan was a chauvinist, couldn't cook, had a bad temper, and pretended to be virtuous. He had established himself as a gentleman in the entertainment industry. Initially, it was my idea, but I wasn't interested in being a manager at the time, which gave Sophie the chance to intervene.
So, what do you say, sister? Do you want revenge?
James leaned in, his warm breath reminding me of last night's passion, making me blush. Of course I do. How dare he deceive my feelings? He's really asking for it. I had some lingering feelings for Ethan, but what he did completely turned me off. Though it still hurt inside, I knew it was because I felt sorry for myself. For all the years of effort that seemed wasted.
Right? You look so beautiful when you're angry.
James complimented me without holding back, making me blush even more. All right, enough with the flattery. Let's go to Director Chen's house. He has a big project coming up. I heard his wife mention it at a party. You could get a supporting role.
Sure, I'll leave it to you, sister.
I secured a role for James in Director Chen's movie and got him a record deal for an album. Then, I crafted an image for him as a rebellious yet kind-hearted youth, with pictures of him riding a motorcycle to donate to an orphanage. Though he always appeared cold, his unique aura was striking. Within 10 minutes of posting online, James gained 30,000 followers. Wow, you're worth more than I imagined. I looked at James in surprise.
Of course, you picked the right man.
He looked at me with a smug expression, as if he had expected it. I ignored him and got him a guest spot on a show. It was a show Ethan had deemed too lowly to attend, but who knew James would make it popular. James gained 1 million followers overnight, becoming a rising star. I took the opportunity to get him a supporting role in a drama that Ethan had passed on, which won him even more fans.
Where did this idiot come from, living off the scraps I didn't want, and now he's got a huge following? Those fans should have been mine. How can he even?
Ethan started complaining as soon as he got back.
Why aren't you saying anything?
Ethan looked at me with extreme dissatisfaction, as if accusing me of not comforting him as his wife. But why should I comfort him? He had his little assistant, and I had my little wolf. Life was harmonious, wasn't it? Yet this guy was never satisfied, always wanting more.
It's nothing. I just think that kid is too much. He must have gotten lucky. But you have millions of fans, you don't need those few 100,000, right?
Ethan was taken aback by this, then forced himself to say.
That's right, just a few 100,000 fans, they're nothing to me.
Exactly. How could he compare to you?
With my encouragement, Ethan's ego inflated again. But this time, to prevent others from picking up his leftovers, he started accepting every script that came his way. Sophie didn't realize the seriousness of the situation and kept supporting Ethan's actions. Little did she know, this would only ruin his reputation. Due to limited energy, Ethan's acting skills were severely tested, and even the extras couldn't stand it anymore.
Did you really win that Best Actor award? How can you act like this?
Yeah, even my dog acts better than you. If you can't act, don't come out and hurt our eyes. Look at you, you're not even as good as the newcomer James.
Exactly, stop taking so many bad roles. It's really frustrating. If this continues, the entertainment industry is doomed.
The audience started criticizing Ethan one after another, his face turning darker and darker. I watched from below, unable to suppress my laughter at his strained expression.
Don't say that. My artist works very hard, often juggling 4 or 5 sets at once. It's understandable if his acting is a bit off sometimes. He's exhausted.
Sophie tried to defend him, but it only made the audience more agitated.
No wonder he takes so many bad roles. It's because he's juggling 4 or 5 sets at once. Even remembering his lines is impressive.
Yeah, making money in this industry is so easy now. I want to become a star too.
Who wouldn't? If someone like him can be a best actor, I could be the best actor of best actors.
Ethan couldn't hold back and hit a reporter in front of him, causing a frenzy of flashing lights. After that incident, Ethan's status plummeted. The once revered best actor became someone everyone avoided like the plague. Taking advantage of James's rising popularity, I took him around to various shoots, and his fame soon surpassed Ethan's. I had James start releasing albums, and he didn't disappoint. The quality of his work was impressive. Watching from the sidelines, I couldn't have been happier. Because I stayed behind the scenes, the mysterious agent by James's side became a hot topic.
Look at other people's agents and then look at you. You can't do anything. You just hold me back and have no opinions of your own. What's the point of having you?
Ethan had previously fired Samantha because she was too controlling. Later, when things were going smoothly with Sophie, it was fine. But now that problems had arisen, Sophie was the first to be blamed. I thought they had a deep bond, but it turned out to be nothing. I watched the drama unfold, munching on sunflower seeds.
Boss, I really didn't mean to. I just wanted to make you happy. I didn't think of anything else.
Sophie's tears flowed down her cheeks, looking so pitiful that even I couldn't help but feel a bit sympathetic. But Ethan, who usually felt sorry for her, just watched coldly without offering any comfort. I wasn't sure if it was because I was there or if he had just had enough of Sophie. But it didn't matter anymore. This man no longer had a place in my heart.
From today onwards, get out and don't appear in front of me again. You're nothing but a failure.
He wasn't just talking about today's incident but also about their previous failed attempts at infidelity. Indeed, if she couldn't do anything right, what was the point? Ethan needed more than just a pretty face.
Boss.
Sophie looked at Ethan in disbelief, then turned her resentful gaze towards me.
Why are you glaring at me, Sophie? I didn't do anything.
Exactly why are you glaring at my wife? Get out or I'll have someone throw you out.
Sophie ran off with red eyes, but Ethan suddenly grabbed my hand.
Lily, I remember you were really capable before. Can you help me?
I realized why he had changed so suddenly. He wanted my help. But unfortunately, I was now James's agent and didn't take on others. Especially not someone discarded by others.
I don't want to get back into this industry, but I can call Samantha back for you.
All right.
Samantha looked at me, her disdain for Ethan evident.
Madam, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have taken back this ungrateful person.
Ethan listened on the side, unable to get angry because he knew he was in the wrong. Now that he needed help, he remembered others. No normal person would pay him any mind. But Samantha and I had a special relationship, and I even gave her a generous gift for this.
I know it's unfair to you. Don't worry, my husband has changed. We'll double your previous salary. As long as you help him get back on track, we'll be forever grateful.
See, if it weren't for your wife, your hard-earned career would be over. Your wife knows how to talk. But this is your last chance. If you don't listen again, I won't help you anymore.
Ethan had no choice but to nod.
Samantha, please guide me.
With Samantha's help, Ethan's reputation indeed improved significantly. I have to admit, Samantha is truly talented. But Ethan got too carried away, soon forgetting himself and arguing with Samantha again.
That's it. I'm done.
In a fit of anger, Samantha turned and left. I took the opportunity to push James under Samantha's wing. Under Samantha's guidance, James landed a major role that was originally meant for Ethan. Soon, he became a sensation, with his fan base growing from a few million to tens of millions, even surpassing Ethan.
Honey, please bring Samantha back. I really can't do without her.
No way. Samantha said she never wants to see you again.
James was much more obedient than Ethan, and Samantha liked him a lot. Samantha even arranged for them to be on the same variety show. I followed behind, quietly watching Ethan make a fool of himself.
How the mighty have fallen, now any Tom, Dick, or Harry can film with me.
This show has many veterans participating. Your behavior is not just embarrassing me.
Ethan's face turned pale.
That's not what I meant.
He hurriedly went to explain to the veteran actors. Ethan made a complete fool of himself on that variety show. People's last bit of admiration for him shattered. The once gentle and refined good man now seemed nothing more than an arrogant, self-important, and chauvinistic man. Though he had a handsome face, it was hard to like him. I keenly noticed that Ethan's appearance had even changed. After that, Ethan gave up and brought Sophie back. The two of them relied on live streaming to make money, but Ethan's fan base had dwindled significantly, barely reaching 1 million. James, on the other hand, had become a major influencer with 30 million followers.
Sis, I've been so good. Can I get a reward?
James came closer, looking at me with hopeful eyes, his beautiful eyes reflecting a tiny me.
Sure.
I bit his ear lightly, and for the first time, he blushed. James's lead role made him a national heartthrob, and his status in the entertainment industry underwent a dramatic change. James lived up to expectations and won the Best Actor award. Ethan was completely finished, losing his Best Actor title and becoming a minor celebrity with only tens of thousands of fans.
Grace, even though your husband is no longer a Best Actor, it's okay. If it comes to it, I can take care of you.
Emily came over early in the morning to comfort me, but before I could speak, Ethan cut in.
She's my wife. Why would she need you to take care of her? Get lost, she doesn't need friends like you.
What are you talking about? Do you think you're still the Best Actor? Now you're nothing in the entertainment industry. I'm Grace's best friend. If you drive me away, you're going against Grace.
Emily's sharp retort left Ethan speechless. I watched from the side, my smile growing wider.
Tell me, do you want me or her?
Ethan couldn't win an argument with Emily, so he came to trouble me.
Emily is right. You are no longer who you used to be. You have no right to boss me around. Besides, you can't control who I befriend.
Lily, are you sure about this? Weren't you the most obedient one? Are you also despising me because I've lost followers?
His current status had become a taboo for Ethan. I never mentioned it, which was the only reason he reluctantly stayed with me at home. But we were estranged, and there was no going back.
The moment you brought Sophie back, you lost the right to control me.
I looked at him silently. Ethan's expression suddenly changed, and he tried to pull me, but Emily blocked him.
You can't touch Grace now. You've been with someone else, and Grace finds it disgusting.
I moved out of the villa and found a rental apartment.
Grace, are you sure you don't want to live with me? It would be good to have someone to look out for each other.
Emily was very worried about me, often visiting every few days, afraid that I might do something drastic. After all, my previous relationship with Ethan was indeed something to be proud of. Anyone would think it was worth ending it all. But I'm not a fool.
It's okay, I'm not fragile. Besides, the moment he betrayed me, I stopped liking him.
I patted Emily's hand to comfort her.
Men are no good. Just don't hurt yourself because of them.
Don't worry.
After sending Emily off, I saw a familiar figure. He seemed to have just finished filming, with makeup still on his face.
Sis, I missed you.
James rushed over and hugged me. I keenly noticed a flash of light. Paparazzi. Well done. The next day, the news was flooded with James's new romance, and my photos were posted online. Ethan, who had been waiting for me to coax him back, couldn't sit still and came to question me.
Catherine, do you really not like me anymore?
He grabbed me painfully, and James rushed over to protect me, pulling me into his arms.
Is the former movie star blind? Can't you see?
Ethan gritted his teeth in anger.
I never thought you would betray me. I still considered you family.
Family? I didn't expose your affair with Sophie, and you think you're a perfect man? Considering me family means setting me up for infidelity and hiring paparazzi to take photos? Ethan, being your family is terrifying, with the constant risk of ruin.
How did you know?
Ethan's face changed several times before he softened his tone.
It's okay, I can pretend none of this happened. I just want you to come back with me.
I knew this was his biggest concession. Ethan was a person with severe cleanliness issues. For him to say this, maybe I did hold some place in his heart. But I had imagined this scenario countless times, and now it didn't stir any emotions. That day, Ethan still couldn't take me away. He furiously threatened to leave me with nothing.
What a joke! I've only been unfaithful once, while he has done it countless times.
Sister, these are videos of Ethan with different women. Are you sure you want to release them?
If these videos were released, Ethan would lose even those tens of thousands of fans. James looked at me without blinking. I knew there was a test in his gaze.
After all these years, are you really willing to let go?
I calmly took the USB drive and smiled faintly.
If we're going for excitement, let's see it through to the end.
The videos were released, and Ethan was completely ruined in the entertainment industry. He never expected me to be so ruthless and quickly adjusted his stance to sue me. Ethan wanted to leave me with nothing, and that villa was his last stand. He had nothing left, and that villa was the only valuable thing under his name. But he had previously given me a gift agreement to put my mind at ease, and with his repeated infidelities during the marriage, no lawyer was willing to help him. For a while, he became a pariah in the legal community. But Sophie somehow found him a lawyer. After the court session, it seemed like the lawyer was sent from our side. James' lawyer quickly dismissed their claims. Later, I found out that the intern was a university student. He helped Sophie because she promised him an internship certificate. But after things went south, there was no way Sophie would keep her promise. Out of gratitude, I asked Samantha to stamp his certificate.
Thank you. You're truly a good person.
They say university students have a naive clarity in their eyes, but I don't think so. Their eyes shine brighter than any gem. After divorcing Ethan, James proposed to me.
Sister, will you marry me?
James knelt on one knee, holding out a diamond ring the size of a pigeon egg. He was now even more dazzling than Ethan ever was. Looking at him, I felt a surge of emotions.
Say yes, Grace.
Sorry, I can't.
I didn't dare to look at James' face that day, but I gave all my assets to Emily. To avoid trouble, I liquidated the villa and gave the money to Emily.
Grace, do you know? That woman took Ethan's last bit of money and ran. Why are you giving me money?
Emily looked at me and suddenly cried. She seemed to know what I was about to do.
Grace, can you not go?
She looked at me with tearful eyes. I shook my head.
The world is still waiting for me to save it.
I reverted to my original form. Boom, the beautiful country. Destroyed. The end.